At the beginning of the film, we see a very wealthy man with an overflow of money. The security in his mansion is extremely tight. The bad guy's crew planned something meticulously and managed to sneak into the grand mansion. Technically, they could have just walked in through the main gate, but where's the drama in that? Wolf, the leader of the bad guys gang, loves drama and action. He isn't interested in piles of gold or cash, but rather in a car parked there. So they take that huge risk just for the car. The owner begs, "Please, leave the car," but Wolf refuses. Instead, he leaves a gift, a box filled with fireworks. Then all the team members hop into the car. Wolf drives with amazing flair. Countless police chase them, but the team barely escapes through heavy traffic, whether by crossing bridges or performing huge jumps over them. They support each other along the way. Those were the days when they lived wildly and freely. Now, the scene shifts to the present day. Wolf's current condition is quite miserable because he has changed into a good animal. He no longer steals. His car is broken, too. After being released from prison, he wanders around looking for a job. They go to several HR offices with their resumes, but luck is not on their side. Everyone looks for different jobs, but no one hires them because their only work experience says robbery. Nobody trusts them or is willing to give them a chance. When Wolf comes home and sees a pile of unpaid bills, his mind becomes a mess. At home, everyone thinks Wolf might have found a job, but he knows the HR officer literally tore up his resume in front of him. Still, he doesn't want to make the household atmosphere gloomy. Then the news reports that a robbery has occurred again. A former police officer who is now a commissioner says the robbery pattern looks exactly like the bad guys' style, but he won't commit to confirming it's really them. The bad guys team starts to wonder who's copying them. Is someone trying to frame them? Amid all this, we see Snake acting relaxed and enjoying life with no worries. Everyone wonders why he's so happy. Wolf just says, "Let him be happy." We also see Wolf still often meeting with Foxy. Their friendship is good, though not romantic. They're still in the friend zone. Foxy, once an officer, is now a high-ranking governor, and Wolf still feels too embarrassed to ask her for help. They choose to remain good friends. The governor is constantly busy with meetings, so Wolf is promised a chance to meet next week. Wolf says he's always available. Foxy reassures him, "Don't worry. If today doesn't work out, tomorrow things will get better for you." Sure or Sharp is under heavy pressure to solve the robbery case, and that's when Wolf comes to see the commissioner. Their relationship is rocky. The commissioner refuses to listen to Wolf because of his criminal past. But Wolf insists that if he were still a thief, he wouldn't have come to help. Wolf wants to assist in proving that the accusations are false. Then Wolf and the commissioner begin analyzing robbery patterns piece by piece. However, they need the help of the other members. Wolf gathers the whole team, Sharp, Ranner, Talenta, and the others, except Snake. They start connecting the dots, what was stolen, and where the next target might be. Gradually, they realize the culprit isn't an outsider but their own friend, Snake. He's betrayed them. Being the smartest and slyest, it makes sense he could be behind it. At the same time, Snake goes missing. So if the commissioner solves the case, Snake will get caught. The team must save Snake before that happens. The next theft target is a championship wrestling belt made from a rare material called magfinite or macfinite, as pronounced in the film. What exactly is this material? That will be revealed later. Wolf and his team arrive at the location and find the place full of festive people, like a carnival. Of course, they're broke and trying not to show it. The commissioner is also there, almost discovering the real clue about who the culprit is. Amid the chaos, Sharp panics and accidentally knocks the commissioner unconscious, forcing the bad guys to lock him in a toilet. They leave a written apology and head into the wrestling arena. Outside, they meet Snake. The team angrily beats him up, but then it turns out what Snake was hiding wasn't stolen goods, it was his new girlfriend, Sujin. Snake says, "What were you all thinking?" Everyone bursts out laughing. Oh, so that's what he was hiding. But that means the real thief is still out there. They enter the wrestling ring, where a massive fighter dominates every match. The bad guys team ends up fighting him together and finally defeat him. As his mask is about to be removed, it's revealed that the championship belt has already been stolen, by Tarantula, the antagonist. With the spotlight on them, everyone assumes the bad guys stole the belt, given their history as thieves. The bad guys can't clear their names, and the police start chasing them again. The commissioner feels utterly betrayed because he once worked with them. The team flees, and Snake's girlfriend Sujin surprisingly comes to their rescue. They escape on a truck. Wolf is heartbroken because he didn't steal this time, yet he's still caught in a mess. We then see the group of people who set them up, including a big pig named Pigtail, who is part of the conspiracy. Initially, they don't like Sujin, but as they share stories and jokes, Sujin becomes likable. She takes care of them, serving food and creating a warm atmosphere. Wolf knows he must fix the situation, and the only one who can truly help is Foxy, who still trusts him. With great effort, Wolf contacts Foxy using an anonymous number. Foxy immediately knows it's Wolf. "You're in big trouble," she says. "I can't save you this time. Why do you always end up in a mess?" Wolf pleads for her trust. He didn't steal anything. The chaos in the black market and all these accusations are just traps. Foxy believes him and reveals that the rare material, magfnite, is extremely valuable. But what exactly is it used for? Foxy begins seeking help. Meanwhile, Wolf explains to his team how they can clear their names. Foxy arrives to help, but when she opens the door, everyone is already unconscious. It turns out Sujin was behind it. She made everyone faint, including Wolf. When they wake up, they're all tied up in one place. There, a new leader appears, Kitty, the head of the bad girls, along with her two members, Sujin, Snake's girlfriend, and Pigtail, the pig who had just left the wrestling arena. They have a huge mission, to team up with Wolf and carry out a grand heist. Despite the conflict between Snake and his friends, he's still infatuated with Sujin. Kitty talks directly to Wolf. "What do you really want?" Wolf answers that he's done with stealing. Why should he join a big heist again? Kitty then blackmails him. She has an old video of Foxy from before she became an officer and later a governor. Kitty threatens to release it and destroy Foxy's reputation. Wolf realizes that would humiliate his friend, so he reluctantly agrees to work with Kitty and accept her plan. Their next heist target, a giant rocket. Everyone asks, why would you need a rocket? Planning to go to space. For Wolf, stealing isn't about the object, it's about the thrill and satisfaction of pulling off something impossible. The same goes for Kitty. Her main goal is to steal the massive rocket. Wolf agrees to join her plan. They start plotting how to pull off the heist. Meanwhile, Foxy ends up imprisoned. In the first movie, we saw the professor imprisoned as the mastermind. Foxy sits with the professor and asks about magfnite. Why would the professor help? In exchange, he demands something. They must play a boring game to help Foxy understand everything about the material. Elsewhere, Kitty is already studying the spacecraft she plans to steal. To control it, they must obtain a special wristwatch that operates the shuttle. The owner of that watch is about to get married. So they plan to sabotage the wedding and steal the watch. They set up multiple bases for the mission, and Wolf's main task is to steal the watch from the groom's hand. At the beginning, all the wedding preparations were almost complete. Snake had already disabled all the cameras. Pigtail and Tarantula hacked into the security system and successfully took control. Outside, Wolf disguised himself as a wealthy oil merchant. Tarantula altered all of Wolf's identity data so that the property owner wouldn't recognize him. After all, not just anyone could get close to a powerful businessman like that. Wolf was just about to steal the man's wristwatch when suddenly, the rich man from the beginning of the film appeared in front of him. Wolf froze. If that man recognized him, everything would fall apart. Nervous, Wolf lost a few precious seconds, and the man was escorted away for the wedding ceremony. Kitty was furious and shouted at Wolf. Meanwhile, Snake and Susan were talking upstairs when they accidentally dropped a gun, which went off and hit the bride. The bride fainted, and Shark rushed to help her. At that very moment, the priest entered, only to get kicked and knocked out cold. Chaos erupted. Wolf said, "You want the watch, right? I'll get it." In the end, Shark disguised himself as the priest, while Wolf pretended to be the bride. With great effort, they made their way to the stage. The ceremony began, and Shark went a little overboard with his acting. Then, the mustached man started getting suspicious. He felt like he had seen Wolf somewhere before. Just as he was about to reject the wedding and uncover the bride's face, Wolf managed to steal the watch and escape. The team jumped into their car, laughing triumphantly. The mustached man was thrown out of the party. Everyone cheered for Wolf, amazed by his skill. Wolf then explained how he pulled off the trick. Elsewhere, Foxy was close to defeating the professor in their game. The professor finally revealed that macfinite was a substance that, when mixed into liquid, could attract gold. The more of it there was, the stronger its magnetic pull, even capable of attracting other metals. In short, it was extremely dangerous. Foxy realized someone was trying to build a gold-attracting machine. But he didn't free the professor just yet. The professor said, "You're the second person to know this secret." Foxy immediately sensed something was wrong. He rushed to the security room to find out who the first visitor was. Once he found the answer, he traced Kitty's location. Meanwhile, the bad guys were celebrating their successful heist. Wolf approached Kitty and said, "I've done my part. Now give me the flash drive." But instead, Kitty began telling the story of her first theft, how it inspired her to keep stealing. Secretly, Wolf recorded the whole confession. Kitty then offered, "You used to live such an exciting life. If you want, you can have it back. Let's go back to stealing." Wolf hesitated and brought the idea to his team. But they refused. "We're good guys now. Why go back to crime?" Hearing that, Wolf realized they were right. But it was all a trap. Kitty betrayed them, locking golden handcuffs on their wrists, which turned out to be magnetic. Then she activated a massive machine powered by macfinite. The machine emitted a laser beam capable of attracting all the gold in the world. Since the bad guys' cuffs were made of gold, they were pulled toward the giant magnet. Kitty left after setting up an automatic upload system. If they fell, a video of Foxy would be uploaded to the public. If they stayed up, the video would remain hidden. Snake was heartbroken after discovering that Susan, his girlfriend, had betrayed him. Wolf tried to stop the upload process. He jumped for the remote, but the upload had already reached 96%. Tarantula tried to hack it but failed. Desperate, Wolf threw the laptop into the fire to destroy it, but it was too late. The old video of Foxy stealing spread across the internet. Foxy's reputation was ruined. Elsewhere, Kitty and her Bad Girls team were preparing to launch a rocket. Foxy arrived and fought them. Kitty told her to check her phone, and Foxy saw the video. It had gone viral. Everyone was calling her a fraud and demanding she resign as governor. Devastated, Foxy was shot and knocked unconscious by Kitty. Kitty had also tipped off the police about the bad guy's location. The police arrived and arrested the entire team. Wolf pleaded with the commissioner, "We're innocent. Kitty's about to launch a rocket that will pull all the gold on Earth into space." But the commissioner didn't believe him and took them away. During the transport, the commissioner recalled their previous acts of kindness and noticed the handwritten sorry note they had left behind. He began to believe them. Meanwhile, Kitty's rocket was nearly ready for launch, 3 days ahead of schedule. Wolf and the commissioner boarded a helicopter and leapt toward the rocket. After several failed attempts, they finally made it inside undetected. Inside, Kitty activated the magnetic engine, channeling lunar energy to power the giant magnet that began pulling gold from all over the planet. Slowly, gold from around the world started floating into space, the greatest theft in history. Snake and Piranha were nearly sucked into the magnet. Seeing this, Susan begged Kitty to stop, but Kitty furiously refused. Finally, Susan and Pigtail abandoned her. Wolf arrived and fought Kitty. His real plan was to reverse the magnet's polarity to send all the gold back to Earth. He managed to do it, but the spacecraft sustained heavy damage, and everyone got separated. Enraged, Kitty attacked Wolf again, but Foxy, who had regained consciousness, joined the fight. Together with the bad guys, they defeated Kitty. All the gold rained back down to Earth. However, the ship began to fall and burn. Wolf calmed everyone down, saying, "Don't be afraid. We did the right thing." Then the ship crashed and exploded. A funeral was held. The commissioner gave a heartfelt speech, saying they had all sacrificed themselves for the good of humanity, including Foxy. Everyone cried. But it turned out they had survived. The bad guys were alive and now worked for a secret government agency. They were no longer thieves, but covert heroes. Foxy joined them as well. Susan and Pigtail ended up in prison, but they smiled, knowing they'd be free soon. In a post-credit scene, we see the professor, the villain from the first film, still alive in outer space. He started his car and drove off toward another world, teasing the continuation of the story, and with that the story ends here. Bad Guys 2 teaches that true change comes from choosing to do good even when the world doubts you. It also reminds us that redemption is possible for anyone willing to face their past and make things right.